My next guest tonight here on Punky's MixTape is joining me all the way from Paris, France. Actually, our very first guest from France here on the show that we're interviewing. I'd like to introduce everybody to JB, Hakim, and Remi, who are the members of Subzero Fun. How we doing, everyone?
Good, good.
Great, amazing.
Really good.
Thank you for joining me this afternoon here, this evening for you. Great to have you on the show. We had an absolute blast checking you all out. We checked out a few of your tracks a few weeks back, but for those on the show that might not have saw that episode, tell us a little bit about Subzero Fun, and you could feel free to go down the line and introduce yourself along the way too.
Let's go. So I'm JB. I'm the bass player, and we've been playing in Subzero Fun for I never remember 5 years now.
5 years, yeah, something like that.
And yeah, the main idea, I guess, is to have a lot of guitars, a lot of reverb, some kind of pop songs, but a bit dirty, you know, and a bit. So I like bass, but I like fuzz too, and that's the part for me. I mean.
Yeah, on my side, I like the fuzz as well, but I feel like I'm playing more the reverb sometimes than the guitar. This is also part of the thing, is like we like very heavy bass, and we like to have some very drony reverb and delay stuff. But also at the same time, we like some more conventional indie rock, indie pop stuff. So we are trying to find a very precise blend of melodic songs while keeping those elements. So yeah, we are... It's like, there was an interview like some days ago we had with a website called Noise Artist that called us Noise Gaze. We were like, yeah, that might be the word, I don't know. But yeah. So our influence initially with JB are along the lines of Dandy Warhols and Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. These are the main core influences, and then maybe we developed a more shoegazy side in comparison to these core influences, but that was definitely the starting point for both of us. Yeah. And then when Hakim joined...
Me too.
I think
I play with these guys from 6 months now.
Yeah.
So it's really new for me, but it's really great experience. I play drums from 2 years now, donc it's new for me too. And it's really great to play drumming in this band. Really cool.
That's awesome. So you only been drumming for 2 years?
Yeah, I'm a musician. I play guitar from 30 years. I'm a sound engineer too. I have a recording studio in Paris. And okay, guitar is great, but drum is really cool.
Drumming is a lot of fun, and honestly, necessity is the mother of invention, especially so you work in a studio, so you know just how hard it is. You're waiting for that drummer to come in. They might have canceled the session, and you need to get something recorded. The stuff's right there. You might as well sit down and learn. That's awesome. That's really cool. So you're a recent addition to the band, making it a three-piece now.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Now, so you've been together for 5 years. Tell us a little bit about the road up until this point.
Well, to be fair, it started even before like 2015. I think it started maybe a year before or something. Initially, I was playing with some friends, but for some reason, I never really had a great experience playing with friends in bands, because like the friendship is there, but then the musical difference make it kind of complicated to make it more serious at some point. And so little by little, friends lost interest, and then I went on some website to find some other musicians that I didn't already know. Started first with a drummer, and then we can't until 2015, because that's when we met with JB. Okay. So like there was like JB says, there's this kind of Tinder for bands that we have in France that we use, and so we swapped. JB we were like, yeah, we want you. And so we met in a bar where we had some beers and stuff. I was late, like I usually am, and he waited very patiently for me to arrive, and then we had some beers, and then JB was like, yeah, I like the bass. I like when it serves the song. I don't intend to do any slappy flea type bass solo or anything. So I was like, well, okay, that's kind of cool. So we started from there. I think that was June 2015. And then from then, I think we spent really a long time rehearsing as opposed to playing gigs. And then I think it was probably a couple of years after that, we were like, man, we really need to play gigs now, because this is not making sense. We need to stop being shy about this. And we started to play gigs. We really enjoyed it. Obviously, this was prior to COVID time, so that was way easier. Even though in Paris, there's ups and downs for gigs, really. It's not always as easy as you'd think in a city like that. But then after this gig period, then we had a second flash. We realized we might as well release music as well. So we're a bit slow in the process, as you can see. We're like, genius, let's release some music. And then from when we started to release some music, we were like, man, you know what we really hate? Not that we really hate, but like something that we're not so keen about is that when bands, they like release 4 titles, and then you wait 5 years until you get another 3 titles.
Yeah,
so we're like,
that can be this draining to wait for.
Yeah, and sometimes you even lose interest, even though it was one of your favorite bands, you know. So we thought, okay, let's have a slightly maybe ambitious scheme, and let's try, let's say, 1 EP every 6 months. Obviously, in the process, it's not going to be perfect. We're probably going to make mistakes in the mixing and in the mastering. It's probably not going to be perfect, but at least we're going to learn things, that's for sure. And that's going to keep us at learning at a fast pace. And we will be sure that we are not losing our motivation in the way that we have some very clear deadlines in our heads. And we try to stick with it. And then, so after the 3 EPs, then the COVID came. And then that sort of restarted everything. So that's more or less the summary of
I guess one important point is that we've been playing so long without playing gigs, and only for ourselves in the rehearsing studio, and that I think helped us say to ourselves that we should go forward and do things, even if it's not perfect, but we shouldn't spend too much time trying to improve it, because after a time you don't improve anymore. You just
become stagnant after a little bit if you just keep you know. And you're right, because you do have to go out and kind of experiment, try some different things, throw it against the wall and see if it works. I really like that ambition and that drive, because a lot of people sit and focus on one album, and next thing you know, a year went by, 2 years went by, 3 years went by, and no matter how much you keep doing, you know, some people, you never reach that like level of perfection that you kind of set your mind to. You know, sometimes you just kind of have to go with the whim and try it. And I would say all the time on the show, sometimes it's the little imperfections in life and even in recordings that can make for something truly wonderful that happens, especially in electronic music and any of that type of, you know, post-production work. Those little anomalies are what give everything character, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, mistakes make great music.
It's true. It's true. You know what some people might consider, you know, to be their shittiest, you know, work, it might be somebody's favorite album, because, you know, you're always going to be your own worst critic at the end of the day. That's the biggest thing, you know. So it's I absolutely applaud those who just going out, trying, experimenting. I mean, setting a deadline for yourself too, you know. And it's some people work well like that. I'm personally one of those. I set a date in my mind, and then I'm like, all right, we're going to get to this point, and I'm going to try to get as much as I can done along the way, and then we'll see where we're at it right at the end. So I kind of work that way, because it personally, it makes me more driven, and it kind of like keeping kind of a little bit of a schedule. I think it allows me to get more done that way.
Same for us, absolutely, man.
So do you guys all live close by and are just able to work and practice in close proximity?
More or less.
Yeah, not that close. I mean, I guess that getting to each other's place is for us something around 30 to 40 minutes. But I guess, and the COVID period showed us that it was possible actually to work from home and just to to send ourselves the files online and to work like that. In the COVID period, we had, especially with Remi, we tried to do one song per week, and it was even not per week, it was per Sunday afternoon or something like that.
Wow.
And it was like Remi was sending me a demo with I don't remember, 5 minutes or 10 minutes music, and I had to find a bass, and we wanted to be ready on the Sunday night to release it on the next Saturday. So, and actually, I personally improved a lot in my recording techniques and stuff, and actually it showed that it was definitely with the tools of today, it was definitely possible to do that. And 20 years ago, we wouldn't have been allowed to do that. And
no, not at all. And you're absolutely just, it's great to hear, people able to make the best of it. Like you said, you really got the time to hone in on some of your recording skills. And I think it's just because there wasn't a lot. I mean, there's plenty of distractions, but when being furloughed from work, you're home, you're completely in your element. You're not pulling out of that artistic mode, that mindset, with all the distractions of life and, and some major responsibilities, all kind of went to the wayside. And I found, even for myself, that it was incredibly beneficial, even with my own music, to how much I was able to put out and produce just in a 40-day period. It blew my mind. And so the fact that you guys were turning out songs in an afternoon, it's mind-blowing, but at the same time, it's really not. It's just once you get into that mode, it's really hard to stop.
If you want to check out the result for this is what we call the HB sessions, and we've all included that as B-sides for the only one single that we have on Bandcamp, which is called Space Drone 3. So you will see all the B-sides of the song we made during these afternoons. And so my initial plan, is one of the bands I love is King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Or yeah, Lizard, King Gizzard, and this band have an amazing album called Quarters, which is just simply, I think it's the length of an LP divided in 4 exactly equal shares. So each of them make probably 13 minutes and some seconds. So my plan was like, let's make every week a 10-minute song, like precisely 10 minutes. I'm that kind of guy. I'm a bit, yeah. And so we tried that. First song was exactly 10 minutes. And then second song was 5 minutes and a half. And then third song was 2 minutes. But anyway, yeah, we work like on distance like this. And it was kind of fun. Not all of the songs are super great. That's why we put them on a B-side on the single. We did not choose to release them as a proper release. But some of the ideas in there are actually quite interesting, because we did not really have any ambition for it to be released or to play them live. We just were open to any idea that we might have. So we could, like, for instance, start a song in a certain tuning and then just tune the guitar differently. And then, so some songs are a mix of a lot of different tunings in the same songs, as if like it was totally out of my mind. Like, we need to play something that we can reproduce during gigs later. It's like, no, let's just try to be creative. And that's some of the songs are, we still like them.
That's really exciting, because a lot of musicians, you're like, oh, we have this scale, this is, these are the notes that we're playing in, so that way, like you said, you could recreate it live. To pull, especially as a guitar player myself, running a track with multiple tunings on it like that, that's awesome. That's really cool. Do you happen to remember the name of that track?
No, because we named them episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. So that one was. I don't remember. Then we came up with titles afterwards.
Well, you'll have to send me.
Yeah, sure.
I definitely want to show them here on the show and have people check them out, because that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you the name of the track later on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, coming back to the yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh no, go ahead. I was saying go ahead.
No, sorry about that. Yeah, the location is, so just to give you an idea, JB right now is living close to Moulin Rouge, so in the north of Paris. I myself live on the south of Paris near Montparnasse, and Hakim lives in the west in Courbevoie.
Yes, in the suburb of Paris.
So all that is quite, it's like 30-40 minutes by bike or by metro or something. It's no big deal to go. So we are very lucky to have some studios that are in the middle of each other's houses. It's just like everywhere, like they're not cheap, the studio for rehearsal. It's like you pay an hourly rate, but sometimes we try to do sessions at each other and so on, but most of the time we rehearse also a lot less than we used to. Like that's one of the things as well. Before we used to really rehearse a lot, like, well, a lot for us anyway, like 6 hours a week minimum or something. And then we really let our hair down about this, like some months ago, where like when Hakim joined us, he was like, so we had this opportunity to play opening for Dead Horse One in one of our favorite gig place. So we were like, should we do this or not? Because we only have 1 week to prepare.
It was less than that. They called us on the Thursday for the Saturday. So we were like, okay, we wanted to go to see the band anyway.
Yeah.
So we were even more happy to open for them. But we were like, I think we had played with Hakim two times before.
Oh, wow.
And we also had like 3 songs that we had never played. Any of us had never played. We had recorded them, but we had never played them together. And so we basically learned all the structures by heart and learned them. And we took 3 hours rehearsal in the afternoon of the gig. And after we ran the first set all together, and we were like, okay, if we play it like that, it's fine. I mean, it was like you said, it wasn't perfect. If you knew what we were trying to do, you would have noticed mistakes, approximations, and stuff like that. But overall, the big picture for somebody that doesn't particularly know our music, I think it was sounding okay, and I think it was the most important. That nobody was obviously making a mistake. Maybe if somebody makes a mistake, maybe we will notice it, but as long as nobody in the crowd notices it, we don't care.
It was my first gig with the band and my first gig on the drums.
Yeah, true.
Wow.
So yeah.
So kind of a double dose right there for you. So that was your first gig altogether. What was that like for you?
It was perfect. They told me, okay, we have a gig. Okay, great, perfect. I like gig, it's my life. I play music from 30 years, so it's okay. I play drums from 2 years. Okay, it's not a problem. And it was a fucking good concert.
Yeah, really loved it.
At least for us. We don't know.
Was that the last show you played before everything sort of happened?
Yeah, that was in Feb. Yeah.
Oh, at least it was a good one. That's a good memory to hold on to, and at least to inspire you during this downtime and kind of a reformative moment for all of you, especially with getting Hakim on drums. So
yeah, and I think we in the last 2 years we were really urging for playing live because especially Remi and I haven't been playing live a lot. Hakim in your previous experiences, he has played live yes. a lot. But this year we were like, okay, maybe we will try to do the EPs, we will try to do an album. Maybe we will just focus. And before, so we were accepting anywhere, in a bar, in a decent place, or anywhere we wanted to play. And this year we were like, okay, if we just play 2 or 3 times, but in some decent place we're happy to play, it will make our year. It will be perfect. And now that you see what's happening in the year, we're pretty fucking happy that we accepted this gig, this 3 days in advance gig in February, because I would still regret it today if we hadn't played this one. this year, especially this year.
Yeah, imagine like if we had been like too shy to accept. And so if we have any advice, and we're not the kind of people who are in position to give advice, but if we have one advice for everybody is like, don't be shy. You just say yes. You turn into yes man mode and you try, and then you have a ball. And then at worst, your gig sucks, but nobody noticed. Like at least people won't be interested, and that's all. And most of the time when like people who go see gigs, they are music enthusiasts. So they are not going to come at you to say, oh, you suck. They're going to come at you and say, okay, good energy, nice try, maybe a little bit of work. But don't be shy, definitely.
Yeah. And there's a good community out there, you know, and that's how you learn, you know, and get your start for younger musicians out there. It's absolutely, don't be shy, take the risk. You know,
that's something I learned in my musician life. Never say no to a gig. Never, never, never.
It pains me I've had to say no to a few gigs over the summer right now just because of everything, and it's hard. It's horrible for a musician. Because the last show that I played was September of last year.
Wow.
So it's almost been an entire year since I've gone out and played a gig, and that was an awesome festival here in Maine. And usually, and that's as a electronic artist, the music festivals, that's where you really go and make a big impact. You know, I play it in tons of different venues around, or not a handful. There's not a ton in Maine, but which are always great. But there's those festivals are absolute blast. I love playing them. I absolutely love playing them because you just get people from all over the country coming in, and you have a brand new audience that's never seen you before. And like you said, they have no expectations of you. So if you falter a little bit, it's they're not going to hold it against you because you're brand new to them. I miss that. I miss that moment a lot right now. It's probably one of the things I miss most about being live is just connecting with brand new people.
Yeah, sure. Also, that's like you said, festival is a pretty special thing. I think that's really something we would like to do, to play in a festival, because we only played gigs in bars at this point. But playing in a festival, for us, we are attending festivals as music lovers. But playing in one, I think we would love it, definitely. I don't know, maybe Hakim, you've done it already.
Yeah, a lot in Germany, in Spain, and it's really, really great. I love festivals. I really love playing festivals. Yes.
I think you would do great at a festival. Your type of music would go over phenomenally. So, and I'm kind of curious about that. So you've only kind of played the bar scene there in Paris. What's that like? Because I'm always curious about just everybody's like their city and what's it like playing music there.
Oh, where to start?
In Paris, it's very complicated, maybe.
It's kind of hard to respond because in a way it's complicated. But if we compare our situation to the situation of a lot of people who live in smaller sized towns where there's absolutely no place to play, then we don't really have the right to say that it's complicated. There are some places, some of them are very good, some of them are just okay. But like there's this place we really like to play, which is called Supersonic. It's for those of you who watch and who come by Paris, if you need to find a place and you want to watch a gig, we really recommend this one because most of the gigs are for free for the audience, and yet all of them. Yeah?
It's live music every night and always free.
Wow.
So it's like, I think it's three concerts every night, and it's like on Sunday nights it's like Cover Sunday or whatever. You've got some bands that play Nirvana or Pink Floyd or whatever.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Queens of the Stone Age that I liked a lot.
And that's awesome. Like
love
this
Queens
Cover
of the Stone
Sunday
Age.
are awesome.
Love Queens of the Stone Age.
And honestly, like you think, maybe cover bands doing Queens of the Stone Age is not going to be so great, but there's actually a lot of great cover bands in there for these weekends, so it's really worth it. And also this place pays the bands, so it's for free and they pay the bands. Whereas
that's a win-win. The audience gets a free show and the band actually gets a paycheck.
Yeah.
Which is like to be noticed.
Rare. That's rare.
And the conditions are pretty good as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, the guys are professionals. You really work with people that do the things right, and it's really great to play there. But apart from that, a lot of head of a lot of venues, like small size venue, like, I don't know, the ones we definitely would play in, like 100 people venues or 100 to 200 people. They had a lot of trouble with neighbors, with security, because you had some I don't know how to call that, but fire exit constraints and stuff. And of course, they're all playing in cellars in Paris. You don't have two exits in your small concert venue. So a lot of them had to close, actually. And obviously, I don't think that shoegaze-ish rock is the most popular type of music now running in Paris. But at least the nice thing is that there still are people interested, and still are venues that are interested. And the ones, if you end up being yourself at this moment in that right place, you'll enjoy the moment with nice people. And so it's a bit of a mix, and probably also that, as our music scene is probably quite small, when somebody decides to go for like psychedelic shoegaze-ish music, rock, blah blah blah, we would have the opportunity to go there. Whereas if there were 2,000 bands playing that, we would just like in the queue waiting to find a gig. So it's a bit of mix. I would like it to be more developed, but we have interesting opportunities. So yeah. That's my take on it.
It's definitely, and that's a good perspective to have on it, because if you were doing what everybody else was doing, which, what's the fun in that? You're doing what you want to do. So because of that opens more doors for you as compared to just being, say, just a rock band, and I like the bands, willing to take the risk, as we've, so learned, so far, and especially when it comes to like that psychedelic rock community. I honestly was kind of expecting it to maybe be a little bit more popular in Paris. I mean, it's kind of general the same here in the States. It depends on what city you're in, but like here in rural Maine, I'm sure most people aren't, really listening to that sort of ambient shoegaze rock, psychedelic, experimental. It's not, it's not the biggest thing, but it's I kind of think shoegaze is kind of like a musician's type of band. Like if you're a musician, you're probably more into shoegaze and stuff like that, because you can appreciate the technicality that's going into it and things like that. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Maybe so, like, I think even some people actually think, I don't know if they're right, but that shoegaze especially is not only a musician's kind of music, but a guitarist kind of music.
That's true.
Like the music that guitarists like, because like, well, you can have awesome drum parts, but it's really the guitars up front, like, and bass players maybe listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know.
But you're right, because of artists like like the Dandy Warhols and even Sonic Youth, those guitars are right front and center. Yeah. They're right in your face. It's a sonic assault of just tons of phasers and reverbs and echoes and fuzz and overdrive, and it's a sonic assault. And for me, I mean, it's energizing. Even to the melodic, to the extreme side of the category, to me, it hits all the right notes, which is why I was very excited to be able to sit and do this with you, because it's I think, you're probably the first shoegaze artist that I've had on the show for an interview, which I'm stoked about, because that's commonly a lot of my regular listening. I listen to a lot of pretty much anything, but I find where I'm sitting here doing work on the computer constantly, I can put on a handful of artists and just get lost into the melodies. And that to me, just to be able to completely lose yourself into the music and go on almost like a journey with it, that's exciting. You know, you stop thinking about yourself or, you know, and everything around you, and you just complete escapism. And I think that's what I like about the genre so much.
I think for us, shoegaze is more a sound. It's like it's not a kind of music. It's a sound, maybe.
Definitely
It's more like a sound. It's not a kind of music. It's a sound. Yes, I think.
Yeah, because like also most of the big historic shoegaze band, they don't really have so much in common. Like except for the
so
sound, like if you
diverse.
compare Slowdive and My Bloody Valentine and maybe Ride and Swerve Driver, like they are all awesome, but they don't really have so much in common apart from the huge sound, really. So that's really what's quite interesting as well about it. I think it's nobody's really copycats.
No.
And,
no, not at all. And I think it's because the genre is so ambiguous, and it's loose with interpretation. It's kind of like the idea of punk, and even that idea has evolved. And I kind of, you know, I think they're both synonymous because they're both they're kind of musical outsiders. They're musicians, you know, types of bands, as I was saying earlier. Or they're those who are eclectic and who are willing to do sort of that deep dive to find something that's going to resonate with them a little bit more. And I think both, you know, are just kind of loose, ambiguous terms, which is what I like about it, because you don't get two artists that, you know, are the same, especially in shoegaze, at all. I think that's what's so exciting about it, because you never know what you're going to get from an artist.
Yeah, and you're right in mentioning the punk, because like to me this is a very important connection. I really like the punkier side of shoegaze, like. Ringo Death Star is like one of my favorite artists for this all last years, like for years, since like 3-4 years. Like JB hears me speaking about Ringo Death Star all the time, and it's like,
I love it.
but yeah, it's awesome. It's like
I love Ringo Death Star. You absolutely nailed it with that one. What a great band. Another one that's just like it's complete sonic assault. You know, on visual, auditory, emotional, they hit all the notes. Oh man, that's great band.
Yeah. As opposed to maybe the more metal shoegaze, like there is also awesome bands like Alcest and so on, which are amazing on the darker metal sound. But this is less what I'm into. Yeah, I think you too.
Me as well.
It's a very complicated music, but because you have Cocteau Twins and you have A Place to Bury Strangers. Okay.
And some
shoegaze and shoegaze. Okay.
And we are team A Place to Bury Strangers. We have to choose.
And you have a lot of different sounds, and this is why this music is very interesting for a musician, for a sound engineer, for a producer. It's like a pâte à modeler.
I don't know what's the English word. But
it's very flexible.
Yeah, it's very flexible. And you can do anything with a reverb, with an echo, it's pretty interesting music.
And what I love the most is that you mentioned punk. I'm definitely not a punk. I'm pretty much normcore guy, I would say. But the punky side of what we do is that what we do it because we like it, and we care if people like it and we're happy. But if nobody likes it, we would do it anyway. And that's my part. It's like we do it essentially because we like it, and we try to put a wall of sound in your face. And if it's too much for you, you've got plenty of other things to listen to, and so bye. so that's my the independence thing. It's like it's quite cool, I think.
Well, I think that's what makes really the difference, kind of from just a musician to an artist. You know, you sit there and you focus on extreme technicality and what everybody thinks. Cool. You're a technical musician and phenomenal. You do a great job at that. But when you really start to deep dive into your art, take a lot of risk, and just willing to experiment, that's truly just a willing artist in my eyes. And you're just a participant on the journey, seeing where your music's going to take you, and just a willingness to go anywhere with it. I think that's what I can say, about the genre so much. But It kind of defies expectations, and I think that's why both kind of the punk and the shoegaze go so well together, is because they're both kind of counter, authoritative. They're defying expectation, and just not set in the normal confines of what you would expect on normal song structure. You're not following a verse, chorus, a transition, a bridge, a body. However, they're not following the normalities of traditional songwriting, and that's what I like so much about it.
Actually, it's quite funny because, like you said before, sometimes you have ideas about what people's expectations are, and most of the time we found we were completely wrong when we thought we were like, in the beginning, maybe we had some songs that were maybe a bit more traditional and stuff. And then we had this song called November, which is basically verse, chorus, and then a big fuzz jam for 10 minutes. And so we were playing gigs at the beginning. And so everybody was pretty much totally not interested in our traditional rock songs. And then November was starting and people were like, what's that? And we were like, okay. And so our friends were like, yeah, I don't remember any of the songs except the one like where you play for 10 minutes with a lot of. We were like, okay. So we thought that this would be the difficult part. This is actually the easy part. So should never try to anticipate people's expectations. And I think that's where, when we really start to enjoy gigs more, is when we really stopped caring about what we thought people would like. We're pretty bad at it.
Well, that's the thing. When you stop focusing on others' expectations, you can start focusing on your own, and that's when you fully just let go and just experience the music, and see where it takes you, to actually feel it out, the fruition of it all, to actually physically feel and emote, what you're producing. Oh, man. Now, so you all didn't know each other previously. What prior experience do you have before joining forces?
We will let Hakim start because he's the experienced guy.
Okay. I play music. I don't know where I start. Maybe when I was 16, I have my first pro band in Paris. I play with all neo-metal band from Paris, like L'Esprit du Clan, Enhancer, Plémo, maybe you know this band. And I play with a lot of bands. Yeah.
In which styles?
In which styles?
Metal,
no, metal just for one band, and electro music. I am a DJ too in Paris. I mix in Berlin too. I have a label in Spain too. Okay, I do a lot of things in music.
So see, the guy is a new drummer, but he knows about music, so that's making things a lot quicker.
Oh, absolutely. That definitely helps.
I think it's the most important. I have the experiences, okay? I'm not a good drummer. That's a fact. But I learn. I love play drums, and I learn, and I enjoy it. But when for the gig, for the first gigs with the band, really, yes, we need to play. That's why we play music. We need to play gigs. We need to play
and even not perfect.
No,
I mean, we are all playing music and listening to music enough to know whether one part is good to hear or not. Whether it might not be perfectly executed and technically not perfect, and probably jazz students would laugh at your face and blah blah blah. But it's like, yeah, it sounds good. So even if it's not perfect, the whole thing sounds good. So it's the most important thing. I think I started bass 1 year before. I think maybe Remi has a side to find people that started their instruments.
I only want beginners.
Only beginners. But I think that the common point is that we were probably beginners in our instruments, but we had definitely common ideas and targets, and we were not trying to be the best in our instruments, but we were trying to be the best, or the best as we can as a band. And I think it's really the top line that we should keep in mind. I mean, and my expectations when I was starting to find a band, I was even searching for punk bands, because I was like, I can't play anything, so I would be happy just to play. And if it's like it's gonna be perfect for me. And so I think I said to Remi one of the first times we met, it was like, I don't care about playing solos or whatever. If you give me the root note and I play the root note on quarter notes, and if it's okay for the song, it's gonna be okay for me. And I'm quite lazy. It's gonna be perfect for me.
But yeah, speaking of previous experience, maybe Hakim also has other project. Maybe you want to talk about them.
Yes, I have another project with a good friend of mine. The band, his name is Typical Light, and it's a band. It's sun pop band. It's really
like you released your first EP.
Yes, I released my first EP in June, and I played. In this band, I play bass, I sing, and I play synthesizer. Yeah.
But it's a totally different style.
Yeah, yes, but I really enjoy playing music in shoegaze, in synth pop. I have another band called Pin Me Johnson. It's like pop rock 60s, and I hope I play in many bands until I die.
Staying busy with it, just always making music. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's my life. I think I do anything for that. I can't work in the office. It's not possible for me. It's impossible for me. So my only solution is to play music.
That's a good solution.
Yeah,
that's a good solution. And definitely send me the links. I'd love to be able to check them out. It sounds great.
Perfect.
Now, before we part ways, anything on the horizon for Subzero Fun that's coming up here in Paris? Are you guys just still making music, pushing along?
Oh yeah. We are currently working on new songs for an album, which would be next year, I think, 1 year from now, maybe a bit more. The thing is that we had made an interview some months ago that got just published yesterday. And so we read it back a few days ago, and we read that we had been bragging about making so many more EPs than we already did. So now I'm thinking we need to work on EPs in addition to the album. So maybe, just maybe, there will be something out in November as well.
Yeah, oh,
maybe. I'm thinking about it. This is an exclusivity. Even my friends here don't know, so they're learning about it right now.
Like, oh shit, here we go again.
So definitely we're working, and then we'll see what we release and what we don't release.
Perfect. Now, where can all the listeners here find your music online?
Mainly on Bandcamp. That's our preferred options. We are not so... I don't want to enter big debates and stuff, but I'm personally not really keen on Spotify and Deezer and such streaming platforms.
We're there anyway. And
we're there anyway, and we like JB likes to listen music on it. I don't really like it so much. We are there. If this is your way of listening music, you will find us there.
Okay.
But maybe this is something we need to say to people as well, is that Bandcamp, I don't know if you agree, maybe you tell us, Bandcamp is a much fairer deal on the artists, in my opinion.
They are very, very good to the artists. They do have a very good deal, and it's pretty legit. I don't think I've had anybody tell me of any issues with Bandcamp before.
That's our experience with them as well.
And you find there people that are truly interested in independent music, which is pretty difficult to find.
It is, and we haven't seen, it was when like MySpace first started, we saw a massive flood of independent artists, and that was amazing for about 2 to 3 years before it just got way oversaturated, and then all the extra design features that went into it, and it really just kind of diluted the entire situation. And then with Facebook happening and everything else, and then the market shift, and then the MySpace music scene completely died out. And then right in that place, Bandcamp seemed to jump in and just cut out all the bullshit. You know, no personal accounts or anything like that, just music for people that actually want to find music. And it's been an awesome resource for me here on the show, just to go in and just look up a band, and then it's like, all right, well, let's find similar artists and stuff like that. So it's been an awesome resource. It really has.
And also, maybe we need to say also, like, you can, we are music lovers, like all the people who are watching your show probably as well. So if you want just to drop us a message on our email box or on Facebook or on Instagram, it will be us responding, and we're really happy to discuss music with anybody, any kind of music. We are doing shoegaze, but we also listen to every rock music from Sigur Rós to Metallica. We like everything more or less, and we're really happy to discuss music with anybody. So feel free.
Now, and because I want to make sure I didn't miss here. Did you mention the band ISIS earlier?
ISIS? What?
No, I didn't mention it, but I occur to like it very much.
Okay, because I thought I believe I'd misheard when you were mentioning. You said something about a metal band, and I only heard the cis part.
Alcest.
What's that?
I was mentioning Alcest.
Oh, different one entirely.
Yeah.
I was confused there.
But ISIS as well.
They're a phenomenal band. They're one of my favorite bands. That's why I was curious. They're a great band. And it's from Boston, where I'm from originally. They're awesome. Then they moved out to California, started doing stuff with the guys in Tool. Really unique band. Aaron Turner's a great musician, but I could sidetrack on that all day. Because like there's a great community where there's shoegaze. There's also kind of this amazing hybrid. What in the States it's roughly called is like post-hardcore, where you get your experimental metal side of things. So, you know, bands you get like Converge or Red Sparrows or Cave In, artists like that, that kind of pull in.
Hakim loves Cave In.
Yes, I love Cave In.
Oh, same here. Oh, man. And Caleb passing away, I think it was just a little bit over a year ago when they lost their bass player. And that's being from Maine, I grew up on Cave In. They're from New Hampshire. They're just one state away from me. And they're a very formative band for me as a musician. I saw them. God, I must have been like 12 or 13 years old. And then I can think in the same year I saw Sonic Youth go on tour, and it just completely opened my mind of just like the advanced, what you can do with analog modulation with pedals and everything else and sound tweaking. And that was one of the bands that just sparked the buzz for me, that wanted to learn how to engineer and just learn the science behind, behind the music and the technology. So very, very big kickoff band for me. Oh man, love that band. That's awesome. Man, that's awesome. I'm a huge Cave In fan. And if my viewers don't know who Cave In is, I'm gonna drop you a link here so you can definitely check it out, because they're great. But so any final words before we part ways for the evening?
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
That's been great.
It's been a pleasure, yeah.
It's always nice to meet like-minded people. It really is.
We've really enjoyed your review, and we don't want to swear so much on the screen, but after that we met and we were like, F you, F me. Yeah. That, we really love that energy, man. That means so much to us.
Straight up. I'm sorry. I wish I was fuck you FM. That's great, man. Like that to me, I was like, man, that would be just great, seeing that right in the bottom of the screen, just spinning around. F you FM. that just won me over, and that track won my mixtapers over as well. And I'm really excited to be able to show them a deeper dive on a lot more of Subzero fun tonight. So cool. Thank you all so much. My guests tonight has been JB, Hakim, and Remi. They're the members of Subzero Fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Thanks.
You have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.